The FCC postponed their controversial rule. And then, get this, the 11th Circuit Court came in like a wrecking ball and struck it down completely. Yep, that's right. It's gone. This kind of changes the game for every single one of us in the telesales world. But before you pop the champagne, let's break down what this means for you, because honestly, there's a lot more to this story than meets the eye. If you're new here, I'm Ryan Valet, your FExpert or final expense expert, and my goal is to help as many agents as I can understand how to truly make a living selling final expense life insurance from your home in the underwear if you want. Okay, so first, what exactly is this rule all about? The FCC wanted to redefine consent under the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, or TCPA. They were saying that you'd need explicit one-to-one consent from a client to contact them, actually. Meaning that when Mr. Jones fills out a lead, he has to agree that Ryan or said agency can call or text him. And even more, consent couldn't apply to multiple vendors or be logically related across multiple services. That means if you were a traditional lead vendor who sells data leads or resells leads, this would have been a nightmare. Actually, some even shut down, especially those who rely on shared consent to maintain compliance. It's like the FCC was tying their hands behind their backs in an already competitive industry. For someone generating leads for themselves or at least just a few people, it was really just a matter of updating some verbiage, which was relatively easy. So the timeline breaks down like this. The FCC actually postponed the rule at the last second, saying that courts needed more time to decide whether it was legit or not. Then minutes later, the 11th Circuit Court swooped in and said, "Nope, FCC, you've overstepped your authority. This rule is toast." Why? Who the hell knows? Maybe it's the bureaucracy or just the government. But the FCC tried to rewrite the rules, apparently pushing restrictions way beyond what Congress intended under the TCPA laws. Congress said that agencies can't just add pages to the book that they wrote. Some say that they were right to shut it down. The one-to-one consent rule wasn't just restrictive. It was almost impossible to enforce in a real practical way. I mean, they'd literally have to have lawyers setting aside just waiting for those phone calls to come in so they can press charges or send you to court. So what does this mean now for us in the insurance game? First, we can breathe a little easier. This ruling removes a massive compliance headache, no scrambling to overhaul systems, which most of us probably have, if not everybody, including myself. No fear of lawsuits, but the really good thing out of this is no fear of lawsuits for missing some impossible to track consent requirement. You can stick with the processes you've already built to stay compliant and ethical. And for lead buyers, it means the market for leads kind of stays stable. Those who are buying from lead vendors shouldn't see skyrocketing costs from lead vendors trying to navigate over these overly strict regulations in their case. That's a win in my book for anyone hustling in final expense especially. I will say it's really important not to get too comfortable though, because here's the catch. Just because the rule is gone doesn't mean that regulators are actually done with us. I believe that a lot of this came from the Medicare world, where people are just constantly getting bombarded by calls over and over and over again. And honestly, I've been to clients' houses where they get 20 calls in a matter of 30 minutes. It's absolutely ridiculous and uncalled for. This rule should have really tamped that down significantly. And that's where I see it to be a little bit of a disadvantage is, so the FCC and other agencies will likely try to revisit these issues down the road. And while the ruling kind of gives some of us some breathing room, the pressure for higher compliance standards really isn't going away. So here's the truth. The one-to-one rule, even though it failed, highlighted something extremely important, which is the potential for higher quality leads, the potential for clients to be more receptive to our calls. Isn't that what we all want? The push for compliance forced some lead vendors to up their game, and that's not a bad thing, and it caused some of them to even shut down who were constantly reselling leads. For us agents, this is a chance to prioritize transparency and actually build trust with clients. When we focus on doing business the right way, we win in the long run, whether the FCC is watching or not. So you might be asking, where do we go from here? And this is what I recommend. Stay prepared. Even though the rule is gone, more regulations could be coming. Make sure that your systems are airtight. 2, focus on transparency, keeping your clients informed. Clear communication builds trust, and trust is what keeps your book of business growing. Number 3, work with quality leads. If you're buying leads, prioritize vendors who deliver clean, compliant data. It's way better to pay a little more for quality than to risk your reputation. Look, this ruling is technically a victory for now, but success in this industry is about staying one step ahead. If you're proactive, if you adapt, you'll thrive no matter what they throw at us. So I'm really curious, what is your take on this? Is the FCC ruling getting struck down a win for the industry, or do you think it's just delaying the inevitable? Do you think that they should have put it in place 10 years ago because, well, honestly, people are getting bombarded by calls? Let me know down in the comments below, and hey, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe. It really helps. Remember, I'm here to help you succeed in telesales and stay ahead of the game. Success isn't about dodging challenges, it's about staying prepared, adapting, and seizing every opportunity to grow, even when the rules change. See you guys in the next one. Subscribe now to be a Fexpert. Do it.